The restaurant is called Le Chardon. It is the kind of restaurant that does not need to put its name on the door, because the people who need to know where it is already know. It occupies the ground floor of a limestone building on the Upper East Side, between a gallery that sells paintings for more than most people's houses and a private bank that has been in the same location since 1927. It has been there for 43 years. It has 3 Michelin stars. It has a wine list that is 247 pages long and contains bottles that cost more than the annual income of the average American household. It has a chef who has been written about in 4 languages and who is currently in the kitchen preparing a tasting menu that will take approximately 3 hours to serve and will cost approximately $1,000 per person, excluding wine. The maître de wine is named Philippe. He has been at Le Chardon for 19 years. He remembers when the restaurant received its first star and its second and its third. He remembers when the chef's wife left him and when the chef's son was born and when the chef's son started coming to the restaurant on Sundays to sit in the corner and do his homework while his father prepared the week's mise en place. He remembers the name of every regular, the preferred table of every significant patron, the wine preference of every person who has ever spent more than $5,000 on a single meal. He is, in the particular ecology of fine dining, a person of considerable power. The waitress is named Marie. She is 26 years old. She has been at Le Chardon for 14 months. She is not the kind of waitress who is visible in the way that waitresses at 3-star restaurants are visible, which is to say, she is not a decoration, not a performance, not a personality hired to enhance the experience of the diners. She is the kind of waitress who is invisible, who moves through the dining room with the specific, practiced economy of someone whose job is to anticipate needs before they are expressed, to remove plates at the exact moment the last bite has been taken, to refill water glasses when they are 3/4 empty, to never, ever interrupt a conversation. She has been trained in the French service style, which means she knows how to present a bottle of wine, how to decant a Bordeaux, how to carve a tableside duck, how to fold a napkin into 17 different configurations, how to interpret the micro-expressions of diners who are dissatisfied but will not say so. She knows the menu by heart. She knows the wine list. She knows the allergies of every regular. She is, in the estimation of Philippe, one of the best waitresses he has ever trained. She is also, in the estimation of everyone who works with her, someone who does not speak about her past. She does not speak about where she was before Le Chardon. She does not speak about what she did. She does not speak about the photographs that occasionally appear in the tabloids, photographs of her, standing next to a man in a military uniform. Photographs of her receiving a medal from a president, photographs that she does not mention and that no one asks about, because the culture of Le Chardon is a culture of discretion, and everyone has something they do not discuss. She is, in fact, a former combat medic. She served in the French army for 6 years. She served in Afghanistan, in Mali, in the Central African Republic. She served in places where the medical facility was a tent, and the equipment was what she could carry, and the patients arrived, without warning, without triage, without the luxury of a full team. She served in places where the difference between living and dying was measured in seconds, and where the person making that difference was often her, alone, with her hands and her training, and the particular quality of calm that she discovered she possessed. When the world around her was anything but calm, she left the army because she was tired. She was tired of the places that the army sent her. The places where the sky was the color of smoke, and the ground was the color of blood, and the air was the color of nothing. She was tired of the particular quality of attention that the work required. The attention that never stopped, the attention that followed her into sleep, and into the small hours, and into the quiet moments when she thought she had finally escaped it. She was tired of being the person who had to decide in a fraction of a second, who to save and who to let go, who was worth the effort and who was not. She came to the restaurant because it was quiet, because the work was simple, because the stakes were small, because the most urgent decision she had to make was whether to recommend the foie gras or the truffle ravioli. And because that decision, unlike the ones she used to make, did not cost anyone their life. This is the context that no one in the dining room knows. This is the context that Philippe knows, only in fragments, in the way that a person who has worked with someone for 14 months knows the outlines but not the details, the shape of a thing but not the thing itself. He knows that she is calm. He knows that she is capable. He knows that she does not flinch. He does not know why. The table in the corner is the best table in the restaurant. It is not the largest table. It is not the most central table. It is the table that overlooks the garden, the glass-walled garden that was installed in 2015 at a cost of $700,000, a garden that contains a Japanese maple and a koi pond and a particular quality of light that is designed to make diners feel as though they are not in Manhattan at all. The table is at the perfect angle to see the garden, the koi, the maple. It is also at the perfect angle to be seen, which is important to the people who sit at it. On this particular Saturday evening in November, the table is occupied by 6 people. The first is Robert Sterling. He is the CEO of Sterling Global, a conglomerate that owns shipping lines and media properties and a chain of luxury hotels and approximately $11 billion in assets. He is 63 years old. He is dressed in a suit that was made for him in London by a tailor who has been making suits for the Sterling family for 3 generations. He has the particular composure of a man who has been in charge of things for so long that he has forgotten what it feels like to not be in charge of things. He is looking at the wine list, which he has been consulting for approximately 10 minutes. And he is trying to decide between a 1995 Chateau Margaux and a 1998 Petrus because he wants to impress the person across from him, but he is not sure which bottle says what he wants to say. The person across from him is his wife, Diane Sterling. She is 57 years old. She is dressed in a gown that cost approximately the same as the car that Marie drives to work. She is wearing diamonds that are not flashy but are real, and the realness of them is the point. She is looking at the menu and thinking about the fact that her husband has not looked at her directly in approximately 40 minutes, that he has been looking at the wine list and the garden and the koi pond and the person next to him, who is not her. The person next to him is his son, Alexander Sterling. Alexander is 29 years old. He is the Vice President of Business Development at Sterling Global, which means he is in charge of identifying potential acquisitions, and also means that he is being prepared to take over the company, or at least being prepared to take over the company. He is dressed in a suit that is not as expensive as his father's, but is well cut, the suit of a young man who is learning to dress the part. He is nervous. He is nervous in the particular way that people who are the children of powerful people are nervous when they are in a room full of other powerful people and are trying to prove that they belong. He is not eating the bread that is in front of him because he does not want to seem hungry, and he is not looking at the menu because he does not want to seem indecisive, and he is not looking at his father because he does not want to seem needy. He is, however, looking at the garden. He is looking at the koi pond. He is looking at the particular quality of light that the designers of the garden installed, the light that is supposed to make you feel calm. He is not feeling calm. He is not feeling calm because he has a secret, and the secret is that the company is not doing as well as his father thinks it is, and that the acquisition he has been working on for the past 6 months is likely to fall through, and that his father will blame him for it, and that his father's blame is a thing he has been trying to avoid his entire life. He is feeling a tightness in his chest. It is a familiar tightness, the tightness of anxiety, the tightness that comes when he thinks about the things he is supposed to be, but is not. He is ignoring the tightness. He is ignoring it because he has learned to ignore it, because the alternative is to acknowledge it, and acknowledging it is not something he is prepared to do. The other people at the table are less significant to the story, but they matter in their own way. There is Howard Chen, the CEO of a technology company that Sterling Global recently acquired, and his wife, Margaret. There is Dr. Jonathan Weiss, a cardiac surgeon from Mount Sinai, who is Robert Sterling's personal physician, and also his friend, and who is at the table because Robert Sterling believes in surrounding himself with people who can save his life if something goes wrong. Dr. Weiss is 55 years old. He has performed approximately 4,000 cardiac surgeries in his career. He has written a textbook on coronary bypass techniques. He is considered one of the best cardiac surgeons in the city, and he knows it. He is looking at the menu with the particular attention of someone who believes that his palate is as refined as his surgical skill. He is also looking at the garden, and the koi, and the light. Mary approaches the table. She has been watching them from the pass-through, waiting for the moment when the wine list has been consulted, and the decisions have been made and the ordering can begin. She has been watching them the way she watches everyone, the way she has been trained to watch, the way she learned to watch, in places where watching was the difference between surviving and not. She has noted the tension between Robert and Diane. She has noted the nervousness in Alexander. She has noted the particular posture of Dr. Weiss, the posture of someone who believes himself to be the most important person in any room, a posture she has seen before, in men who are accustomed to authority and have never had their authority questioned. She approaches the table at the precise moment when the conversation has paused, when the menu has been closed, when the room is ready for the next thing to happen. "Good evening," she says. Her voice is calm. Her voice is the voice of someone who has been trained to be calm, who knows that calm is the only thing that works. "May I take your order?" Robert Sterling looks up. He looks at her. He does not see her. He sees a waitress, a uniform, a category. He says, "We'll have the tasting menu, the full tasting, and I'll take the Margot, 1995, decanted." "Of course," Marie says. She writes it down. "And for the rest of you?" The orders proceed. Diane orders the tasting menu but asks for modifications. No mushrooms, no dairy, no shellfish, because she is on a diet that her nutritionist has prescribed and that she is not enjoying. Alexander orders the tasting menu without modifications because he does not want to seem difficult. Dr. Weiss orders the tasting menu and asks about the wine selection because he wants to demonstrate that he knows something about wine, that he is not just a surgeon but a man of taste. Howard and Margaret order the tasting menu and say nothing. Mary takes the orders. She collects the menus. She returns to the pass-through. She places the order. She waits. The evening proceeds. The food comes, course by course. Amuse-bouche. Appetizer, first course. Second course. The soup, which is a truffle consommé that the chef is particularly proud of. The fish, which is a sea bass that was flown in from Brittany that morning. The intermezzo, which is a lemon sorbet that is meant to cleanse the palate. The main course, which is a beef tenderloin that has been aged for 42 days and cooked at a temperature so precise that the chef has been known to fire cooks for a variation of more than 2 degrees. The wine is poured. The Margot is decanted, opened, tasted, approved. The conversation proceeds. Robert Sterling is talking about the acquisition. He is talking about it because it is what he talks about, because it is what he thinks about, because it is the terrain on which he operates. He is talking about the synergies and the efficiencies and the integration plan, and the words are the words of a man who has been saying these words for 40 years and has stopped wondering whether they mean anything. Dr. Weiss is listening. He is nodding. He is offering the occasional observation, the occasional insight, the occasional piece of advice that he has learned to offer in the particular tone of someone who is not trying to impress, but is, in fact, trying to impress. He is watching Alexander. He is watching the young man's face, the way he is not looking at his father, the way he is looking at the garden, the way his hands are moving slightly, the way he is not eating the food that is in front of him. Dr. Weiss has been a doctor for 30 years. He has learned to read the signs that other people miss. He is reading Alexander's signs. He is seeing the tightness in the jaw, the flush on the neck, the way the young man's breathing is slightly faster than it should be. He is seeing something that is not right. He does not say anything. He does not say anything because he is not sure. He does not say anything because he is a surgeon. And surgeons are trained to act when they are sure and wait when they are not. He is not sure. He is not sure because Alexander is young and healthy, and there is no reason for him to be having a cardiac event. He is not sure because the signs he is seeing are the signs of anxiety, of stress, of a young man who is having a very bad night in a very public setting. He is not sure because he does not want to embarrass the young man, does not want to call attention to something that might be nothing, does not want to be the person who made a scene for no reason. He does not know that Alexander Sterling has a peanut allergy. Alexander Sterling has a peanut allergy. He has known about it since he was 7 years old, when he had his first reaction, and his mother rushed him to the emergency room, and they told her that he was lucky, that the reaction had been mild, that the next one might not be. He has been careful about it his entire life. He does not eat peanuts. He does not eat things that might have peanuts. He asks about the food he orders, the ingredients, the risk of cross-contamination. But tonight he did not ask. Tonight he was too nervous. Tonight he was too focused on not seeming needy, not seeming difficult, not seeming like the kind of person who asks questions and makes requests and takes up space in a world that does not have room for his needs. He ordered the tasting menu without modifications because he did not want to be the kind of person who makes modifications. He did not ask about the ingredients because he did not want to be the kind of person who asks. He did not know that the beef tenderloin was garnished with a peanut sauce, a subtle sauce, a delicate sauce, the kind of sauce that is meant to be a whisper rather than a shout, a compliment rather than a feature, the kind of sauce that a person who is not paying attention might miss entirely. He ate it. He ate it because he was not paying attention. He ate it because the sauce was a whisper, and he was thinking about the acquisition and the integration plan, and his father's expectations, and the garden, and the koi, and the light. He ate it because he was not present at the table. Not really, not in the way that would have protected him. The reaction begins slowly, a tightness in the throat, a sense that something is not right. He clears his throat. He takes a sip of water. He clears his throat again. He is not thinking about allergies. He is thinking about the acquisition. He is thinking about the integration plan. He is thinking about the way his father's voice sounds when he is disappointed. The tightness worsens. He cannot clear his throat. He cannot swallow. He reaches for the water glass. His hand is shaking. He does not notice. He is trying to breathe. He is trying to take a breath, a full breath, the kind of breath that fills the lungs and calms the body and allows the world to continue. He cannot take a full breath. Dr. Weiss notices. He notices the way Alexander's hand is shaking. He notices the way the young man is not speaking, the way his eyes are wide, the way his breathing is labored. He notices the flush on his neck, the redness that is spreading, the particular quality of a body that is having a reaction to something. He stands up. "Alexander," he says, "are you okay?" Robert Sterling looks up. He looks at his son. He sees the same things that Dr. Weiss sees, but he does not read them the same way. He sees a young man who is anxious, who is nervous, who is having a difficult time at a difficult dinner. He sees his son, his disappointing son, his son who is about to lose the acquisition that would have proven something. "Alexander," he says, "what is wrong with you?" The words land like stones. Alexander does not answer. He cannot answer. He is trying to breathe. He is trying to take a breath. He is trying to do the thing that his body is supposed to do automatically, the thing that has never failed him before, the thing that is now failing him in front of everyone. Dr. Weiss is moving. He is moving toward Alexander. He is a surgeon. He knows what to do in an emergency. He knows the Heimlich maneuver. He knows how to perform it. He has been trained in it. He has never had to perform it in a restaurant, but he knows the technique. He positions himself behind Alexander. He wraps his arms around the young man's torso. He makes a fist. He places it above the navel. He pulls inward and upward. Nothing happens. He tries again. He pulls harder. He uses more force. He is a strong man, a surgeon who has performed 4,000 surgeries, a man who is used to force. He pulls inward and upward with everything he has. Nothing happens. Alexander's face is turning blue. The particular blue of a body that is not getting oxygen, that is running out of time, that is approaching the moment when the difference between living and dying becomes a matter of seconds. Dr. Weiss tries again. He pulls. He pulls. He cannot get the obstruction to move. He cannot get the airway to clear. He is performing the maneuver incorrectly, in a way that he does not realize, in a way that he has never practiced on a real person, in a way that feels like it should work but is not working. Robert Sterling is shouting. He is shouting at Alexander, at Dr. Weiss, at the room, at the universe that has allowed this to happen to him, to his son, to his evening. Deanne Sterling is screaming. She is screaming the particular scream of a mother watching her child die. The rest of the restaurant is frozen. The diners are frozen. The other waitstaff are frozen. The kitchen is frozen. The entire restaurant has become a tableau of horror, a room full of people who do not know what to do and who are doing nothing. Marie is not frozen. Marie is moving. She has been watching from the pass-through. She has been watching the way Dr. Weiss positioned himself behind Alexander, the way he wrapped his arms around the young man's torso, the way he performed the maneuver. She has been watching the way the maneuver failed, the way the obstruction did not move, the way the blue in Alexander's face was deepening. She has been watching the way Dr. Weiss was doing it wrong. She is moving before she knows she is moving. She is moving the way she moved in the field, the way she moved when the patient was on the ground and the world was on fire, and there was no time for thought, only for action. She is moving the way she learned to move, the way her body learned to move when the difference between living and dying was measured in seconds. She reaches the table. She pushes Dr. Weiss aside. He is a large man, a powerful man, a man who is used to being the one in charge. She pushes him aside with a force that surprises him, that surprises her, that surprises everyone who is watching. She positions herself behind Alexander. She does not wrap her arms around his torso the way Dr. Weiss did. She has been trained in the Heimlich maneuver, but she has also been trained in another technique, a technique that she learned from a medic in the French army, a technique that she has used in the field. A technique that is more effective than the Heimlich when the obstruction is not moving. She places one hand on Alexander's chest, above the sternum. She places her other hand on his back, between the shoulder blades. She pulls him forward, toward her, sharply. It is not the Heimlich. It is a move that most people have never seen, a move that is taught in military medical training, but not in civilian life. A move that is designed to create maximum pressure on the airway, to dislodge obstructions that are stuck in a way that the Heimlich cannot reach. She pulls. Nothing happens. She pulls again. Harder. With all the force she has, the obstruction moves. Alexander coughs. A small cough, a pathetic cough, the cough of a person who is just beginning to breathe again. He coughs again. He coughs again. He is breathing. He is gasping. He is taking the ragged, painful, beautiful breaths of a person who was not breathing and is now breathing again. The peanut sauce, the delicate sauce that was a whisper rather than a shout, is on the table. It has come out of his throat. It is there, visible, undeniable. He is breathing. Marie is supporting him. She is holding him. She is speaking to him. She is speaking French, the French of her childhood, the French of the army, the French of the field. Ça va, ça va. Tu respires. Tu es en vie. She is saying, it's okay, you are breathing, you are alive. He is crying. He is crying the particular tears of a person who has just been given back something he did not know he had lost. He is crying because he is alive. He is crying because the girl in the uniform is holding him. He is crying because his father is standing there, frozen, watching, not speaking. Dr. Weiss is staring. He is staring at Marie. He is a cardiac surgeon. He has performed 4,000 surgeries. He has been trained in the Heimlich maneuver. He has never seen the technique she used. He has never seen anyone perform the move that she performed. He is looking at her with the particular expression of a man who has just realized that the world is larger and more complicated than he thought. That there are things he does not know, that the waitress in the uniform has knowledge he does not have. He says, "What was that?" Marie does not answer. She is looking at Alexander. She is looking at his face, the color returning, the blue fading, the breath coming more easily. She is not looking at Dr. Weiss. She is not looking at anyone. She is looking at the young man in her arms, the young man who is alive because of her, because of the training, because of the places she has been. She says quietly, "He needs an epinephrine auto-injector." Does he have one? Diane Sterling is nodding. She is fumbling in her purse. She produces the auto-injector. Marie takes it. She administers it. She does it quickly, efficiently, the way she has done it before. She is not thinking. She is doing. She is in the field. She is in the tent. She is where the difference between living and dying is measured in seconds. Alexander is breathing. He is breathing normally. The epinephrine is working. The reaction is subsiding. He is going to be okay. Marie stands up. She steps away from the table. She looks at Dr. Weiss. She looks at Robert Sterling. She looks at the room. She says, "The ambulance is on its way. He should be taken to the hospital. He should be monitored for the next few hours. He should be okay." She says it calmly. She says it the way she says everything. She says it the way she has said it before. Robert Sterling is looking at her. He is looking at her the way he looked at the wine list, the way he looked at the garden, the way he looks at the things that matter. He is looking at her with the particular expression of a man who has just realized that the world is not what he thought it was. He says, "Who are you?" Marie does not answer. She does not know how to answer. She is not sure what the question means. She is not sure what answer would satisfy him. She is not sure she wants to satisfy him. She says, "I'm the waitress." She turns. She walks away. She walks back to the pass-through. She picks up the coffee pot. She begins to pour coffee for another table. The ambulance arrives. Alexander is taken to the hospital. The testing menu is abandoned. The 1995 Margot is left on the table, half empty. The garden is quiet. The koi are swimming. The light is still the light of the garden, the light that is designed to make you feel calm. The restaurant closes. Marie finishes her shift. She does not speak about what happened. She does not speak about the technique. She does not speak about the French army, about the time she was in the field, about the things she has seen. She does not speak about the expression on Dr. Weiss's face, the expression of a man who realized that he was not the most important person in the room. She goes home. She sleeps. She dreams of the field, of the tent, of the places where the sky was the color of smoke, and the ground was the color of blood, and the air was the color of nothing. The next day, Robert Sterling comes to the restaurant. He comes at 11 in the morning, before the restaurant is open, before the lunch service, before anything. He comes because he wants to talk to the waitress. He wants to understand. He wants to explain. He wants to thank her. Philip meets him at the door. Philip looks at him. Philip knows what happened. Philippe has seen the video from the security cameras. Philippe has watched the way his waitress moved, the way she pushed Dr. Weiss aside, the way she performed a move that no one in the room recognized. He says, "She is not here, Mr. Sterling." Robert Sterling says, "I need to see her." Philip says, "She will be here at 5 o'clock for the dinner service." Robert Sterling says, "I will wait." Philippe looks at him. Philippe is a man who has been in the restaurant business for 43 years, who has served the wealthiest people in the world, who has seen things that other people have not seen. He looks at Robert Sterling, and he knows what he is seeing. He is seeing a man who has been humbled, a man who is realizing something, a man who is beginning to understand that the world is larger and more complicated than he thought. He says, "I will have her come to the office when she arrives." Marie arrives at 5 o'clock. She is wearing her uniform. She is carrying her coffee. She is walking toward the service entrance when she is stopped by Philippe. "The CEO," he says. "He wants to see you. He is waiting in the office." Marie looks at him. She does not change her expression. She is not surprised. She is not nervous. She is not anything. She has been through this before, the aftermath of a thing that happened, the attention that follows, the questions that she does not want to answer. She walks to the office. She opens the door. She sees Robert Sterling sitting there, in Philippe's chair, looking at her. "Please," he says. "Sit." She sits. She sits across from him. She looks at him. She does not speak. He says, "My son is alive because of you." She says nothing. He says, "I watched the video. I watched what you did. I watched you push Dr. Weiss aside. I watched you perform a move that I have never seen before. I watched you save my son's life." She says, "I did what anyone would have done." He laughs. It is not a funny laugh. It is the laugh of a man who has just realized how wrong he was. "No," he says. "They wouldn't. No one else moved. No one else knew what to do. Dr. Weiss is one of the best cardiac surgeons in the world, and he didn't know what to do. You did." She is silent. He says, "I want to know who you are." She looks at him. She thinks about the question. She thinks about the places she has been. She thinks about the field, the tent, the patients, the decisions. She thinks about the particular quality of attention that the work required, the attention that never stopped, the attention that followed her into sleep. She says, "I used to be a combat medic in the French army." He is quiet. He is doing the rapid recalculation of a man who has just discovered something that does not fit his model of the world. "I did 6 years," she says. "I saved people in places where the medical facility was a tent, and the equipment was what I could carry. I saved people who were dying. I saw people die. I learned to move quickly. I learned to act. I learned to not think. I learned to not flinch." She pauses. "The move I did on your son is a military technique. It's taught to medics in the field. It's more effective than the Heimlich for certain types of obstructions. I learned it from a man who was a medic in the Foreign Legion. I've used it before. I knew it would work." Robert Sterling is looking at her. He is looking at her with an expression she has not seen before, a look that she does not know how to read. "I want you to know," he says, "that you are no longer a waitress." She looks at him. She does not understand. "Effective immediately," he says. "You are the head of security for the Sterling family. Full salary, full benefits, complete autonomy. You will report to me and only to me. You will have a staff if you want one. You will have a budget. You will have whatever you need." She is quiet. She is thinking. She is thinking about the restaurant, the quiet, the simple work, the small stakes. She is thinking about the simplicity of a life that does not require her to act, that does not require her to decide, that does not require her to be the person she used to be. She says, "I like being a waitress." He looks at her. He is surprised. He is not used to people saying no to him. She says, "I came to this restaurant because I needed peace. I needed quiet. I needed a place where the decisions were small and the consequences were small. I needed to not be the person I used to be." She pauses. "I understand that you want to thank me. I understand that you want to repay me. But I don't need to be repaid. I did what I did because it was the right thing to do. That's enough." Robert Sterling is quiet for a long time. He is looking at her the way he looked at the garden, the way he looked at the koi, the way he looked at the light. He says, "Then I want you to do something else." She says, "What?" He says, "I want you to train my son. I want you to teach him what you know. I want you to teach him how to move, how to act, how to not flinch. I want him to learn what you learned." She looks at him. She is thinking. She is thinking about Alexander, the young man in the restaurant, the young man who was choking. The young man who was so afraid of his father that he did not ask about the ingredients, who did not protect himself, who almost died because he was too afraid to be difficult. She says, he needs to learn to be brave. He needs to learn to take up space. He needs to learn that being careful is not the same as being weak. Robert Sterling nods. He is not nodding the way he nods in board meetings, the nod of a man who is agreeing with something he has already decided. He is nodding the way a man nods when he is learning something new. Teach him, he says. She is quiet for a moment. She looks at the window. She looks at the garden. She looks at the light. She says, I will. Alexander Sterling comes to the restaurant the next day. He is pale. He is hesitant. He is the person he was before, but also not. He has been given something he did not have before, a sense of what it feels like to be dead and then to be alive again. He walks toward the office. He sees Marie. He does not know what to say. She says, sit. He sits. She says, you almost died because you didn't ask about the ingredients. You almost died because you were afraid to be difficult. Do you understand that? He nods. She says, I'm going to teach you how to ask questions. I'm going to teach you how to take up space. I'm going to teach you how to be present. I'm going to teach you how to pay attention. She pauses. I'm also going to teach you how to save someone's life, if you need to. I'm going to teach you the technique I used. I'm going to teach you how to move. I'm going to teach you how to act. I'm going to teach you how to not flinch. He looks at her. He is not the person he was before. He is something else now, something that is still being formed. Why? He says. She looks at him. She looks at the young man who almost died because he was afraid to be difficult. She looks at the young man who is trying to be something different. She says, because someone taught me, and because I believe that the things you learn should be passed on. That's the only way the world becomes a better place. He is quiet. He is thinking about the acquisition, about his father, about the company, about all the things that used to matter, and now seem smaller than they did before. He says, when do we start? She says, now. The following year, Alexander Sterling is at another restaurant. It is not Le Chardon. It is a different restaurant, a less expensive restaurant, a restaurant where the wine list is shorter and the waitstaff is not invisible. He is there with his father, who has changed, who is learning to look at people differently, who is beginning to understand that the world is larger and more complicated than he thought. He is also there with Marie. She is not the waitress anymore. She is the one who trained him, the one who taught him, the one who changed the architecture of his life. They are eating. They are eating in the quiet of a meal that does not require performance, that does not require proving, that is just eating. Alexander Sterling looks at the menu. He sees an ingredient he does not recognize. He sees something that might be a problem. He asks the question. He asks it the way Marie taught him. He asks it without apology, without hesitation, without the fear of being difficult. The waitress looks at him. She tells him about the ingredient. She tells him about the risk. He is careful. He is present. He is paying attention. His father watches him. His father is thinking about the moment in the restaurant, the moment when his son was choking, the moment when the waitress moved, the moment when everything changed. His father is thinking about the particular quality of a small gesture, the gesture of a woman who did not flinch, the gesture of a woman who saved a life, the gesture of a woman who taught his son to be brave. He is thinking, every action tells you everything. Every person tells you everything. The question is whether you are paying attention. He is paying attention. He has started to pay attention. If this story stayed with you, if you felt the moment when the waitress pushed the surgeon aside and performed a move that shocked everyone, share it with someone who needs to remember that what you carry in quietly counts more than what you announce.